Hey, it's Lloyd with the Food Service Channel, powered by the Food Connector. And I'm here today with Ryan Milani. Ryan's a big help to us in terms of all things website, digital marketing. He's a Google certified partner, knows all about Google Analytics, AdWords, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And today we're going to pick his brain and have him answer some questions that I get asked all the time. So thanks for joining us, Ryan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, Ryan, I have a friend and he has a website for his food business. But beyond that, he doesn't really know much. And he asked me about search engine optimization. And I know a little bit about it, but not like you. But if I said, hey, Ryan, can you help out a buddy and just look over his site, just do a quick look over in terms of search engine optimization, are there things that you would be looking at that would be kind of like a quick dashboard or checkup for him for search engine optimization?
Yeah, there's a couple things that you could do like right away. Like one would be to like look at what the numbers say and see what the traffic looks like from an organic perspective and see if he's even getting some traction or how much traction. But even without the numbers, you can still go in and take a look at the website to see like are they sending the right signals to Google? Do they have any kind of technical problems with the URLs? Does the site load friendly on mobile? So there are a lot of ways that you can kind of analyze the site without needing the analytics and the numbers, but it's kind of best to have both. Google has a product called Search Console, which allows you to get insight into what keywords you rank for and how many impressions do you get and how many clicks do you get. What positions do you rank for? Are there any issues with your site? If it's not mobile friendly, for example, it'll highlight all that there, and that's really powerful to pair with doing like a site audit. A site audit, typically I do it all manually most of the time, where you go through and you look for what are the page titles, structure, are you sending good keywords that you want to rank for there? Is there a lot of duplicate stuff? Does each page have good unique content? Those are like the basics. Those are the things that you really want to make sure that you have, is that each page has really well structured content on it.
Okay, and does it matter whether he just created the web page and it's new or if it's been up for a while? And are you able to look at statistics for discrete time periods?
Good question. Yeah, it does matter quite a bit. If it's a new website, it takes a little bit of time to get the authority in the eyes of Google, and the trust. Google is looking for websites that demonstrate expertise, experience, authority, and trust. They call it EAT, and they just added an E to it. They used to just be EAT, but now it's EEAT. But how long your website has existed has impact because how many people have linked to your website, and that's a big part of the trust aspect and the authority. But if it's hard to get a link from somebody else's website, like whether they're writing a blog post about you and referencing you as an authority, or whether you're listed in a directory somewhere, like on a professors.edu page, those backlinks have different amounts of authority that come through them. So if you have a link from like Google, for example, that's a huge authority that can really help elevate your position in Google. So uh, if you're a brand new website, it takes a lot of time to develop all those backlinks. If you've been around since the 90s, you're probably going to have a lot of backlinks stacked up, and you're going to probably have a good ranking because you've had the time to have those naturally, organically occur. But if you're new, you got to make sure that you're doing everything you can to get the easy ones. And the easy ones are things like your social media profiles, making sure that they have a link to your website, and your website should have a link to them. But also, if maybe some of your leadership has some like authority in the industry and they've done speaking events, maybe they're listed on a website, maybe you can get a backlink from the profile of the guest speaker. Stuff like that can really help increase the authority and get your website shown more. You can still rank without that stuff, especially if you have really unique content that has high volume of search, but it takes some time. And you need to alert Google that you even exist. If you're a brand new website and you haven't verified your search console, that is your primary way to say, hey, Google, we're live, start ranking us.
Okay. And so with the EEAT and what that stands for, Google, when it's ranking pages, it's effectively trying to see if your page is useful, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If you think about what Google's trying to do, they're in the business of relevancy. And especially now with like the competition from AI tools, they want people that are coming to Google and searching for a particular thing, they want to be able to deliver the best possible experience for whatever that thing is that people are looking for. And they have a long tail of results that will show up for every search query. But that's why having like well structured content that's sending the right signal, using the right words, giving Google the best chance to rank that, because there's a lot that goes into that algorithm for ranking. You might have the perfect piece of content for it, but if you don't have the authority and the trust from Google, you might not rank in that top position. Additionally, if you don't have the signals in the right places, it can impact how you get ranked there, because there's so much stuff that goes into it. Or if your website is super slow, that can impact your ranking too, because again, they're trying to like measure all this and make sure that they're delivering the most the best experience for the top results there.
So basically, if I make an awesome site, that means that it would rank well, right?
Google has said, just be awesome. And because ultimately that's what they're looking for. They're looking for the best experience. And if you're not awesome, if your website loads slow or doesn't look right on mobile devices, that's not being awesome for your users.
Regarding keywords, does it matter in your copy whether the words are in your headlines, in your captions, in a blog post? And does that mean that my beautifully designed image heavy website maybe doesn't rank as well because it doesn't have enough keywords?
That can often be an issue, and this is where like if you have backlink history and have good strong people linking to you, it can really help, because those links can provide like context for Google. But it is this balance that we have, is our artistic side versus our technical side. And there's kind of like this balance that has to be done. You need to be able to say these keywords on the page to really rank. But even within that, like the images have the capability to have alt text too. So you can still like put keywords in your images, and that you absolutely should, because it's part of ADA compliance, American Disabilities Act. So you want your images to all have like descriptive keywords there, but that's a little bit different. That's describing the images versus saying in a header your industry, the service that you're providing, all those little meaty details that Google can really pick up and understand the structure of the content on the site and the hierarchical order of it.
In my situation where a friend says, hey, can your buddy Ryan take a look at my website? And you do, and you're just seeing kind of how it's doing overall for search engine optimization. How important is it that the features and design be baked in from the start versus can it be changed once the website is up?
Okay, so that's a good point too. Your page title is like your number one area where you have influence over your keyword ranking. And so having a good page title there, if you change that page title, if you change a word in it, in the next couple days, you probably would see a change in your keyword ranking, and you'd see that Google would be picking up on new signals. Feature changes and technical changes that happen on the website are much slower, and you might see a big difference in 6 months. You might see a steady progression if you've made a change there, but the page title is the one of the most immediate. Another way to think about like the best kind of setup for your site is demonstrating your expertise. So a lot of people have blogs on their site. Some people don't. You might have your main pages, and that's great. If you have your main pages that talk about your product or your service, you're going to rank okay for those words, but you're limited to what those services and those products that you're offering are. One way to expand the keywords that you rank for there is with a blog. And with a blog, you can take that concept, if you think of it like a tree, you take that concept and now you can explore different branches of it and start to build up the leaves on this tree. If your primary customer is a chef in a restaurant, well, there's lots of different types of restaurants. So you could talk about fresh and local food. You might have like a restaurant that is more corporate. And so you might talk in a blog post about maybe some of the challenges of like food waste in a corporate cafeteria. So it can really expand the umbrella of search terms that you rank for. And it's a great way if you're providing really good quality content, potentially you're opening yourself up to people linking back to your website, and now you're building your backlinks too. So it's really important to have good content. It's not just about like being loud and often. It's about answering people's questions or providing something of value to people. We're not just doing it to do it, but doing it because there's something of value that people can take away.
That's really interesting because I think a lot of companies get hung up on talking about specifically their products and services, but that can be so narrow, right? They can be experts about things in their entire industry, but their website doesn't necessarily reflect that.
Yeah, yeah. And it's a way to kind of build out your story and, provide value.
That's great. Well, Ryan, thank you so much. I imagine that for you, it's got to be super rewarding when you work with companies in things like search ranking or AdWords to see them get the benefit of it. I would imagine, whatever the starting point is, when you can see that somebody ranks higher because they understand kind of, it's sort of like a game, but you need to know the rules and how it's scored. And I would imagine for you, it's got to be rewarding when that happens.
It's a lot like a game and a score. And I like numbers and like to see that stuff. So oftentimes I'll go back into old accounts that I had worked with in the past and just see like, wow, okay, they started from there and here's where they're at. So it's kind of fun to see accounts grow and kind of take off.
Well, I want to thank you again so much for your time. It's been super helpful, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, great.
Thanks, Ryan.